All right, guys, we are back. Welcome to the MLG Winter Invitational. It is day one of the semifinals, and the players got excited. They started the game a little early, but it didn't have broadcaster mode on. So, Benson, do what I did. Go to your name, hit A, and then you're going to go down. You're going to hit
magical.
Enable Broadcaster Mode.
It's magical.
Because Infinity Ward and Activision are awesome, and if you guys haven't been using the broadcaster mode since the last patch on Tuesday, I highly suggest getting back on there and trying it out. They put the orbital viewpoint in the game, so all you have to do, hit the right joystick if you're playing tactical, you'll zoom in, be able to see opponents through walls, and just the overall flow. We now have a kill feed in the bottom right, easier to switch between players. So many improvements since we last used it on a LAN tournament back in Columbus and at UMG.
I haven't used it for quite a while, actually. I remember I was speaking to Tina, one of the developers, and she was like, check it out, check it out. So this is actually going to be my first look at the brand new broadcast mode. I'm pretty excited, and you got me all excited for this.
Right? It's pretty darn awesome. I got a chance to use it all last Saturday as the U.S. qualifiers went down, and we had Methods in the house. Did you get a chance to catch any Methods casting by chance?
I did. Thank you very much for the British accent. I just want to say on behalf of all of us UK folk out there,
how bad was it?
Please never ever do that ever again.
Out of a 10, where were we at?
You didn't even register on the scale. It was that bad.
-2?
On a good day.
Off the negative scale too.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie.
Our British accents are terrible. My Scottish accent was amazing. You can just admit that now. But Methods definitely has some work to do. Guys, sorry. I just looked over, and there's another restart to the game. And as you know, if you've been using esports rule set, because we want to get all the players in the game before it ends, there's a huge countdown on this bad boy. So we're dealing with some countdown action now. But it's Curse Las Vegas going up against Strictly Business. We talked a little bit about the teams earlier. It's going to be Parasite playing with Killa, Miracles, and then, of course, their pickup of Ricky on Strictly Business. This is the team that everyone needs to start paying attention to. Their colors, white, purple, and black. Pretty unique there in the esports scene. These guys, they're kind of... I love this squad because it seems like it's a pickup team at start, and then it just gelled into something that's so much more powerful. Apathy, one of the underappreciated players in this scene. He was definitely one of the MVPs for the Strictly Business squad back at UMG. Have you had a chance to ever play in a game with this kid, Benson? Because I swear in warm-ups, I didn't win a single gunfight when I ran into him.
Luckily, no, and I don't want to because he is a beast, and it's just... No, I mean, like, it's really funny because, like, as casters, you know, when players are warming up, etc., we can just spawn in, just try and get a few kills, and there's like
try and go positive. That's our goal. Try and go barely positive.
That's always the goal. But there's like a select few bunch of players who, when you run into them, you just never kill them. It's just like you may as well just put the controller on the floor and just be like, well, that didn't go very well. And he's definitely one of those players. He just seems to always win those 1v1 gunfights, which is very interesting.
And he's dangerous, and I was checking Twitter during the commercial break, and people were upset that we talked about kind of Saints in depth. We talked about Sensor, like, where's the love for Apathy, man? Well, there it is. Apathy is going to be a player to watch, and we talked about his role on the objective, and really, I think it's going to be great to watch the battles between Miracles and Apathy because those are the guys that are fearless. They will be first into the hill, trusted to get the kills. Same thing is going to go down between, I think, we're going to see Killa and Sensor meet up quite a bit in our first game. It's Domination, so it's all about controlling those 3 flags. Who's going to be matching up, though, against Ricky on Curse Las Vegas? Who's the AR to cancel him out for SB?
I would probably say it's going to be Saints. I would say, watch out for Saints trying to slay. But that's the thing about SB, though. They can all slay.
Right.
That's what makes them such a scary lineup. Any one of them can just go slay, and they don't necessarily need to have that AR positioning, just sit up top and sort of camp out. They can all do a very similar role. They're very, very diverse, and that's kind of what's caught out a lot of different teams, I would say. Just the way that SB can play the game is kind of different. They have their own little meta, if you will, and teams that go up against them, that's kind of what catches teams out, just the way SB actually play the game.
Now, I started this game off with Dito. He's the only one on SB running an AR. The only AR out for Curse Las Vegas is going to be Ricky as well. And off the start, Apathy is actually the player into the action at B. And let's jump on board with him as he is quickly securing that point. Lost one teammate, but the first B control is going in favor of SB.
And that was really nice play from Apathy. Just managed to dive straight on. And he's actually picked up a kill as well. We've got Saints slaying 3-0 right now, doing a great job of that. But the big question now is how are Curse going to try and adapt to that? Because that was a very, very quick B flag. I mean, that was just so quick. It really did catch Curse out by surprise. And Curse is one of those teams that are really just going to try and slay around the B flag before they try and make any moves. SB, they recognize that. They just went straight onto that flag, and they've managed to capitalize.
Right now, Apathy's at 4-1, Saints at 3-1. As Apathy falls, we jump on board with Saints, who's actually rocking a Vector, not an MTAR, which is something pretty interesting because I'd say about 90% of the US SMGs have been all using that MTAR, no matter what map it is.
Right. It's a very, very common gun to see in competitive Call of Duty. I love it. Whenever I'm running apes, that's the gun I go to. It's my go-to gun. It's just so dominant. It's just so good. It can do absolutely everything. You know, even at range, you stand a pretty decent chance of trying to get some picks. And it's kind of surprising whenever you do see someone use something other than the MTAR, you have to kind of sit back and go, oh, someone's using something different. How is this going to work?
Well, Miracles was actually just able to steal A for Curse Las Vegas. Let's hop on board with him, and he's currently 5-2 with that one capture. They have A and C control, and what they're trying to do here, guys, is really force this SB squad to go back and try and get one home base flag. In the meantime, they're going for the 3-cap as they take B back. Perfect execution of the strategy. And Benson, for some of the new Call of Duty players, some of the new fans out there who are just learning about Call of Duty esports, talk to me about kind of the most basic strategies behind Domination.
Domination, it's very, very simple. You just want to try and control as many flags as possible. What you tend to see, though, is teams very rarely push for 3 flags unless they desperately need to. If there's a massive point differential, the very common strategy that you see on all the maps is, you know, cap your home flag, be it A or C, then go for B, and just try and kill the opposition off their opposition flag spawn. And if you can do that, you can rack up a serious amount of points. And we do play 2 sides in competitive Domination as well. That's just so you have the best of both worlds, so to speak. You know, the spawns will flip, just to give a fair sort of advantage to both teams. I don't know, it's interesting seeing all the different teams, how they have strategies. You know, some teams, for example, prefer CB, others prefer the A-B combo. Some teams may even go crazy and prefer having C and A, not actually capping B, just leaving B to the opposition. So it's something that every team is completely different about, and that's kind of what makes Call of Duty esports so good.
And, you know, as we're watching here, you're watching Miracles at the moment going in for A. He threw down the trophy. He's the only one there. Everyone else is focused across the map on C, and I think that's something about Sovereign. It's such a large map, so much time to get from one side to the other that if you can take back those home flags, you can force the rotation. Unfortunately, Miracles jumped off a little early, wasn't able to take A, and actually, as I'm watching, I just saw Parasite with a clutch kill on C, and even if they get this back, though, SB was able to maintain control. They took the middle. Kill is fighting for that now. And A is back in SB control. This one's going back and forth, and at the start, it's strictly business actually up 60-51.
Yeah, Killer just needs to go big on the B flag, and I think he's managed to do it. Curse LV managed to just flip that B flag back into their control, but they're going to need to defend it now. There's a lot of SB pressure going towards that B flag. I think it's going to be Saints who's going to try and do some of the work as he's just trying to pre-fire absolutely everything, it seems. But SB, they're on that B flag. Saints is going to get taken down, though. I believe that was actually Killer, who's just gone clutch for LV with a huge 2-piece as we approach the last minute of the first side.
Final 50 seconds. As Benson mentioned earlier, of course, Domination is a 2-sided map. We started off with the first 5 minutes. Take that score, add it to another 5 minutes as we switch sides at the half. 42 seconds left, and it's just a 3-point game. 67-64 in favor of SB, but their 10-point lead is now disappearing. Apathy trying to hold on to B. They just re-secured C. And now it's going to be up to Curse Las Vegas to try and take back the center point in the final seconds.
Looks like they're all trying to flood it, but watch out for Ricky. Bucket. He's actually rotated all the way to C. He's managed to neutralize the flag as well. There's no one from, in fact, no, I lied. There's 2 people from SB trying to rush back and try and get a kill. He does get taken down. Is that going to be enough right at the very end? I don't think LV are going to be able to capitalize on that B flag. Ricky opened up a massive space, but unfortunately no one was there to try and help him out. And it looks like it's going to end 78-72. So SB going into the second side with a very small advantage.
6-point advantage for SB, and a lot of it comes from this guy, Apathy. He plays the objective, 4 captures on the board, but look at the slaying column, 18 and 8 plus 10, the only player on SB to break 1,000, and he landed at 2060. Everyone else basically breaking even, trading kills, or going way negative in Censor's case, despite the captures. On the Curse Las Vegas side, the stats are a little bit more even, but Apathy, definitely the strongest performance out of all 8 players in that first half.
Yeah, he just dominated, to be completely honest. And it's kind of ironic, one of the plays we didn't really mention a lot in the pregame, and then we bring him up right before the first side goes, and he just goes off on that first side. So he definitely seems to be playing very well. I think he's definitely a player we should keep our eyes out on the second side. But 6 points, Bucket, it's a very, very small differential, which has been transferred over to the second side. And it's something that we can see easily. I mean, 6 points can go in a matter of seconds. That really is nothing. But the big thing that really impressed me was the way SB just kept rotating flags. As soon as they recognized Curse LV were going to jump on A, they all rotate to C, they grab that flag, and they just tried to maintain that 2-flag lead for as long as possible.
Now, on Sovereign, I know a lot of maps are considered to have one favorable side. How do you feel about it on this map? Does one side have the advantage over the other?
For me, it comes down to personal preference. I'm not going to lie. I think every team kind of has that personal preference. I personally prefer the side which I believe it's going to be SB on, where you spawn at the C flag. I don't know why. I just feel that you can try and get that top B control very quickly, a bit quicker than you can on the other side, and that really does help with trying to cap that B flag. But that's just, again, my personal preference. Everyone has their own sort of preference, I think, now.
Well, I just had a lot of fun with the flag cams. All right, anyway, we're jumping on board with Parasite, and he knows his squad is down 6 points. They need at least 7 to take game number 1. And at the start, he's that overextender. Look at the minimap as I bring it up full screen. Everyone else focuses on B. 2 players drop from SB, and Parasite has 2 options. A, he can come on the flank, or B, he can go all the way back into their home base and try and get a counter cap. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for Parasite. He's dropped. Kill goes down as well. Ricky, after 3 straight kills at the start, is also going to fall. Everything looking fantastic for SB. They have their home flag. They had B neutralized, and now Apathy's fighting for their opponent's home base.
That was really nice play by Miracles as well. It's worth mentioning. He dived straight onto that B flag, got a couple of clutch kills, but it looks like SB, they've managed to contain that Curse LV pressure, and they're going to have that B flag back in their control. It's pretty much deja vu from what we saw in that first side Puckett. SB came out the blocks just charging, and you have to kind of, I don't want to say question what Parasite was doing, but should he have just rotated straight towards C, put pressure on, allowed his teammates to try and get B a lot easier? Maybe he should have just gone straight towards that B flag. He got himself in a bit of an inconvenient position. He's actually had a pretty poor start to this game as well. Currently 0-3. He's definitely going to need to pick things up. Miracle's 5-3 though. He's making some clutch kills for now.
And I'm on board with Censor currently, and of course, he only dropped 4 kills in the entire first half. We were looking at the stats, saw the 4 caps, but he was around 4-15. Now starting this one, 4-2. Unfortunately, though, he was just dropped at B. They're going to have to try again as 3 players were there to capture the flag.
Really nice plays, and SB, it's Apathy who's going to be on that A flag. He has 2 people pincing him, and he is going to be able to neutralize that flag, and that's something which is such a crucial sort of factor to domination on Call of Duty Go. So I think a lot of people still don't really appreciate is you don't necessarily have to cap the flag, Bucket. You can just neutralize it, and by neutralizing it, it's plain and simple. You stop your opponents getting any points, and sometimes you'll see players overextend. If you have A and B, you'll see players go to that C flag just to neutralize, not necessarily to cap it. It just completely puts a limit to what your opponents can do.
And talk to me a little bit about the scoring system of Domination, because I know it can be a little bit confusing for a new player. And also want to point out, we're currently watching Censor was on just a 1 kill spree, but Dito was on a 5 kill spree. Go ahead, Ben.
Dito, the beast. The scoring system, it can be very complicated, I guess. But it basically just comes down to whoever controls the most flags is going to get the most points. I believe the points refresh is every 5 seconds, I believe. Yeah. And you get obviously 1 point if you control 1 flag, 2 points if you control 2, 3 if you control 3. But as I said, if you can stop your opponents having any flags, even if it's just if you control 1 flag and the other 2 are neutral, that's going to be 1 point you're gaining and 2 points they're not going to be gaining. So you are going to incrementally increase just over time.
And each team has a maximum of 12 points per flag. And if you capture all 3, you're going to be feeling pretty good with 36 flags in a minute, or 36 points in a minute. But at the moment, it's 50-39. and it's in favor of Strictly Business again. So another hot start, 1:48 seconds left for the guys on Curse Las Vegas. They need some huge plays. DOTA just shut down the kills at C, and Curse, they're currently playing 3-on-2.
That was actually phenomenal play from Ricky. I just caught it looking at the minimap. You just saw that one arrow managed to take down 2 Strictly Business players at that A flag, and that's going to give Curse just a little bit of hope as Ricky is just on a slaying mission. 6 streak for him, 12-5. He's just going to try and defend that home flag because he knows Strictly Business is going to be rotating. That's a 7 streak, low on ammo though. He is going to need to try and switch out. He's picked up an MTAR, so now he can't really sit back and slay. He is going to need to just be a little bit more aggressive. He recognizes there is someone from Strictly Business around him. You can see that orange arrow. Looks like he's going to jump on towards that B flag. Now, is Ricky going to try and make the moves? He doesn't really have a choice at this point. With only 60 seconds left, manages to pick up the kill as well. This is a fantastic comeback from Curse LV.
Remember, it was 76-72, I believe, so a 4-point advantage in favor of the boys from SB. Curse Las Vegas needs to pull out by at least that number. Is that it, or a 6 or a 4-point advantage?
It was a 6-point advantage from the first side, but unfortunately 4 players from Curse did actually just go down. SB dived on that B flag, they smelt blood, and are they going to be able to defend it? It looks like it's going to be down to Saints now. He's going to be left all by himself. He's going to rotate towards A, and Curse LV have left that wide open in the last 30 seconds.
A is being neutralized. Meanwhile, Ricky actually putting some shots down at a player over at C. On board with Ricky. Ricky falls. And we're going to stay on board with this Curse squad. 71-71. 15 seconds left, so 3 chances to score. They need all 3 caps. I don't see it happening, and SB knows it. Look at this. They know the math. They're protecting their A flag, and everyone, or C flag, excuse me. Everyone held up at the base, and they're going to go ahead and take this one. Despite losing round number 2, they win by 3 points overall, and it's DOTA's turn to shine, dropping 18-12 with 2 caps. Sensor, again, finishing with the most flag captures on his team.
Yeah, really nice objective work there being done by Sensor, but DOTA on the slaying mission, 18-12. And again, you look at that Curse LV scoreboard, it's all very equal. Again, is kind of what we saw in the first side. Everyone with an equal amount of slaying, equal amount of deaths, kind of sort of scoreboard that they have going on for them. And you have to say, SB just coming out clutch right when it really mattered. A 3-point lead. That's all it was. 3 points. And they managed to take the first map.
That's all the difference between these two squads. Such a close series between these 2 of the 4 finalists. Guys, we're going to switch host. It's going to take a minute, so we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, it is game number 2, Search and Destroy, coming up after this.